So, Ezra, nice to meet you, man. Before we jump into the game itself, maybe you can just give like a little bit of background of who you are, how long have you been playing, what's the context of this game?
For sure. Yeah, nice to meet you too, Kieran. I'm Ezra Campanelli. I'm a player based in Southern Ontario, and I've been playing since 2021 roughly. But it's been kind of like a slow trajectory for me. I have a lot of other things on the go. Finally made Premier last year. My game mostly consists of I've never been a serve baller. I enjoy a good rally, and I'm reasonably athletic. But I just enjoy playing. Try to play as much as I can, and I'm super invested in the scene. I do a little bit of admin work for Rounded Ontario up here. So
Nice.
yeah.
Sweet. No, that's helpful to know. And also, out of this session, do you want me to focus on specific things, or would you like me to kind of just give my overall thoughts on everything?
Overall thoughts would be good. Just yeah, feel free to get really nitty gritty with
Sure.
it. Yeah, any aspect of my game you think that could be improved.
Yeah, can do. Let's jump in then. So on that first point, I noticed that your momentum kind of takes you away from the play immediately. Like you're overlapping a lot here with Jared is his partner, or is your partner,
Yeah.
and it seems like you're both covering the same shot, at least in this specific moment. Like going back, imagine if Adam had set Peter right here. Like
Mhm.
who's covering this space? So yes, you ended up in the right spot because Adam set Peter to his right hand and it was right here. But you will encounter lots of times where like the setter is more aware of where you are, and they might set both of you out of the play. Like if I was the setter right here, I would notice like both of you and Jared are both a little out of position covering this. So I would try to just do like a quick set to the left hand here. Um, I would say that in general, how you can fix this is just knowing like where you should be covering uh, certain shots from the beginning. So in this scenario, Jared is in what I guess you could call is like the pocket, so between like the receiver and the setter, and he's kind of taking away the righty pull at the current moment. Whereas you should be covering like lefty pull and righty push. Jared should be covering like righty pull and lefty push in case the set comes over here. So say like right when you tap it on, your direction should not be let me run to the right because he's already split from you. So you don't actually have to move much at all. You can actually just approach the net. And this is something I told a lot of people recently, but especially on these tap on serves, they're gonna be very in system, meaning that like generally they're gonna be walking towards the net. The setter is gonna have unlimited time to think about where they want to set. You should be as close to the net as possible on these because you want to take away as much angle as you can. So as you're tapping it on here, like I would have liked if you had stayed closer to here on Peter's right hip, so you could be opposite of your partner because Jared's actually in a really good spot here. And
Mhm.
then as the set happens and it's kind of off net or like towards the rim, that's where you could collapse and shift towards the push, which is where you end up anyway. But I just think that you leave the window and the door open over here for this lefty pull, probably without really realizing it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so when I see that set come in from Adam and it is going to Peter's right hand, do you think I should be right on the net trying to get a body up, or a kind of funneling it to Jared somewhat?
Yeah, I would say it just depends on exactly how far off net the set is. Like
Mm.
if since the set ends up like on the rim, I would say bodying is a pretty good idea because if he had hit this push really low towards you here, you would have needed to be lower to the ground too and probably covering more. But because it kind of hits up towards you, like those shots are definitely harder to defend in the sense that like sometimes you're not thinking like, oh, I gotta reach up. But I'd say for the most part, like try to be the same distance away from the net as Peter. Like it's like one of those like Scott Beeks principles
Yeah,
that he it tries to instill in everyone, but it is true. Like you want to be equidistant from the set landing point and where you line up on defense. It also depends on the hitter. Like if Peter is someone who hits very low, tricky push shots, like going to the net is probably generally better. But if he's doing these types of shots where like he's kind of just hitting it not from the lowest contact point and also like it's coming up a lot, like playing off net's probably a bit more beneficial.
got it. Great points.
Yeah, so on this one, nothing really else to say other than I think your partner needs to make more of an effort to get to the other side of the net here. Um, Sometimes this happens, which is like as someone's receiving a ball, they think, oh, okay, well, I can just kind of walk up and approach the net the way I received it or like from the direction that I received it. But generally, that doesn't give you as many options. Whereas if he had shown up and been right around here, like then if your set were on the left side, he could hit like a lefty pull, which isn't really possible at the moment. And I think what he ends up doing is just kind of like he goes up to the net and he probably is already expecting to hit right, and that's why he approached it from the way that he did. But had your set been any different and like more on this side of the net, he would have had to hit like a righty push or something. The shot selection from your partner also isn't great. Like the push is wide open here, so he's got to be able to recognize that Peter is very out of position on this, and you are basically in a one-on-one versus Adam here. Um, and that's just something that like it takes a while to kind of notice, but as I'm the hitter in this scenario, I want to be aware of where's the defender behind me. Is he more on my hip? Is he close? Is he far away? Is he taking away like the shot where I'm like wrapping it behind me? What's kind of open? And then as the set's coming in, like this just seems like a clear push right here because Adam's momentum is carrying him to the right and Peter is like pretty far away from the play. Like Peter should be here and Adam should be here. But
Mm-hmm.
because Peter's far away, like Adam has to cover both. And he just guesses for this righty pull shot, which he ends up being right because Jared doesn't hit like the optimal shot here. So all in all, like nothing more you really could have done. Like it's hard to see exactly like where your set lands. It looks like maybe it's a little bit off net, but like at the same time, like it looked like a good set. I'm just noticing other things that these players could have done differently too. And then right here, I would say approach the net a little closer because the hitter and the set is like they're both a little bit close. Like you seem slightly too far away here, but
Mm-hmm.
because the set ends up being off net, like you end up in a really good spot again. We'll see if it ends up like biting you like later in the game, but right now you've ended up in a good spot, probably simply because the sets have been um, off net into you anyway. And then here, like nothing really you have to worry about. Like you're in the right spot. It doesn't hit your hand well. Like it's fine. I care more about like your position than I do if like it hits your hand well or not. But I would say that like because it hit your hand the way it did, I am guessing that you just didn't get your hands up quick enough. Like it looks
Yeah, it
like,
looks like that. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't really care that much about that if I were you.
Okay, sweet.
So
Oh boy.
actually, similar thing here. I think your hands aren't up quick enough. They're like a little late coming up. Also, I think you could have been a little bit deeper in a squat here, and this probably would have been high. So really focus on like staying low and shifting low as Adam's serving to you. Also, I can't really see the serving lines, so it's hard to tell like are you cutting the angle off or not. But it looks like you're taking at least one step in, which is good. Um, I would say just start a little bit lower in your stance.
Yeah, for sure. I think I have a tendency to take a step back where I should be, yeah, like taking a step in. I don't know if maybe I was doing it right there, but I also worry about what's your advice on, because I feel like if I start with my hands high, that's often where the serve lands. But if I start with them like really high, and then it's a nice low cut or reverse, and then I bring it down, then the ball often just kind of like goes into the ground or like away from my partner. Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I would say you want to keep your palms up, so the
Mm,
ball is like always kind of angled upwards. Um, I try to have like pretty stiff fingers as I'm receiving because I almost want to like carry it towards the net. Like it used to
yeah.
not be allowed, but like now that you can carry the ball, I would say try to guide it with your fingers as best you can. Also, I would say that like I tend to have my left hand kind of low, depending on if they're a lefty or righty main. Like I tend to keep my left hand like a little bit lower and my right hand a bit higher, just because I want to be able to make those last second adjustments to the low serves. But most servers don't swing like very low. Like if I'm playing someone like Kyle Fowler, for example, my hands are like almost at my ankles facing upwards because I know that all of his serves are going super low. So it depends who you're playing against. I don't know Adam very well. I've played him maybe once or twice, but I don't think he hits like the lowest of serves. So I think your hands can probably be in like a medium ground where like get ready for the low ones if he hits peak, but also like shift and angle upwards if you need to. It really just depends on the player though.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's I've never really thought about the palms up thing, so that's a really good detail.
Yeah, and then this is actually something that like Trip Pearson told me like a long time ago, but it stuck with me, and that's like don't have your first touch go towards your partner. Like your first touch you need to be thinking like get it to the net
Yeah,
because you want your partner like it used to be because you could hit on two, but like really in all reality you want your partner to be able to have the easiest set that they can, and then that makes your life as a hitter that much easier too.
great point.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't really like where you guys ended up here, but part of this is because your starting position. So you have a couple different options as the defender here, or I guess you could call it like the roamer. You could start on the left side and not be like behind them, which you would probably do if you were trying to take away like his righty pull off the bat. You could also start behind him, which is what you end up doing. And you could also start in the pocket, which is between them. There's different benefits to each of those. If you tend to play a team that blindly sets righty pull a lot and the hitter is maybe more one dimensional, I think the approach of starting on pull is generally better. If you play someone that maybe hits a lot of shots back to themselves, like those like flick shots and like last minute like pushes, standing behind is a good strategy, but what what you get exposed to here is I imagine you're waiting to see where the set is and either collapsing over here if the set's over here or collapsing um, over over here if the set ends up over like you're kind of waiting to see where the set goes.
Mhm.
But the problem with that is that against a really good setter, you can get boxed out of the play really easily. Like he could just be aware of where you are and set Peter into a one-on-one right here with Jared. So this strategy is fine, but you kind of end up in this weird scenario where like if you're not on the same page with your partner, one of you is probably going to end up in the wrong spot. Like what should have happened here is like as the set's coming in, like your partner Jared should be sliding in this way and you should stay where you are, but Jared doesn't slide in and so you're in a one-on-one now against Peter, and then you're just guessing at this point, and Peter makes a smart hit.
Hmm.
But also notice where Jared ends up. Like Jared just is in a good spot right the second, but then he lets Peter cross in front of him here. Jared should not be letting Peter cross in front. He's gotta cut this way because I bet if Jared came across the front of the net, like you would have stayed and probably had been on the shot. So it's a bit of like a balancing act there. This is why I generally like to stand in the pocket as the non-server, is you're already split here and your partner knows like, okay, you're on lefty pull. like I'm not really sure what Jared is thinking at this current moment because you're on lefty pull, you're on the right shot, but then I think he's kind of just like, oh, it's coming to you, I can't get there in time. The problem with that thinking is, yes, he might not have a chance at getting this ball, but by still shifting last second, that gives you a chance to stay on the right shot, and it also might get in like Peter's head, and maybe he misses if Jared like shifts across and like people get messed up all the time by just someone shifting at the last second. So I would say like
Totally.
that's something that I try to do at times is just like get in the way, even like without hindering them.
Great point. Yeah, and you were talking about like the little like flicking into yourself as the hitter or like low last minute pushes. That would definitely be Adam. So bear that in mind for my
Okay,
defense going forward. Yeah.
sounds good. To me, it looks like so for one, you're standing very far away from this whole sequence, which especially on these tap on serves, you're just putting yourself in like a really bad position right here.
Mm.
Because again, like if Peter had done like a really quick set here away from you, then it's just a one on one with Jared. But again, like Peter is setting right into you, so you don't have to move much at all, which is really nice. You end up with a good touch, or I guess like decent touch. Um, this set, I like that he set that with his left hand, even though it didn't end up being like that good of a set. I think it was still the right decision here. And then way to get it on. Here, it seems like your feet are moving before your brain is working because this set, like you need to stay on pull here, but you're just like running around. And then it's a one on one with Jared.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what I was thinking. I just run away from the play, but yeah.
Sometimes you like almost expect the set to be somewhere that it's not.
That's probably it. Yeah. I think luckily Peter here hits it in the no drop zone, so we got away with
Okay,
it.
that is lucky. No drop zone.
Yeah.
That's a football, by the way.
Oh, could you quickly go back just so I can? Oh yeah.
Oh wait, see the drag on his right foot.
Yeah. Good point. I do not notice foot faults. I should look for that. Yeah.
I try to just like usually if someone does it once, they do it often. So like pay attention for like the first few points and then later in the game I don't really pay attention as much.
Right.
So what I don't like about where you position this set here is like the defense doesn't really need to rotate at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
you guys could have won the point really easily here if you set Jared for like a lefty pull shot, but instead you kind of put it on his right side, and Adam gets lucky that he doesn't have to move at all. Notice like right here, where is the opening? It's either setting it right here and hitting it on the far side of the field, or it's like quick set to the right hand and sneaking it through. But generally, I would say these players are expecting to have to collapse this direction. They're not like thinking, "Oh, I got to cover this area." So that's generally where like you can win a lot of points is almost just anticipating where the defense is going to move to and making it that much easier on your hitter. Um, so I think the set itself, like while it is still a fine set, you could have won the point before this. And then on this play right here, you need to be split. You're too much on this side of the net. Because what happens if Peter sets Adam right here? Now this whole area is open. Peter does set Adam on like the far side. So now you need to be thinking like pull, 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 pull. and Peter needs to be thinking like come help for push, but Peter doesn't come help for push, you're in a one-on-one again and you don't rotate enough for pull.
Yeah, I think if I just at least as a first step for improving my defense, if I just always think mid rally, we need to kind of be on usually on opposite sides of the net. Like I guess it depends on the play, but at least in this play, like as if we were across from each other, then you judge based on where the set is coming. Would you
Exactly.
agree?
Yeah, I'd say that's always like a good default state of mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Touch.
Oh boy.
Okay, wait, let's break this down. So, your partner's starting in the pocket again. That means you should be on righty pull and lefty push, and Jared should be on lefty pull and righty push.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be making more of an effort to get here quick, because you're still like a little too. You're kind of just nonchalantly walking up to the net like it's a 1v1, but you have your partner support on the left here. So really, you need to be moving a little bit more this way. Once the set is off net like this, it's a good touch by you, but I don't think you need to be as close to the net. Just given that, like, look at where the set is going to land. It's like probably right around here. Like, you could be not bodying and maybe just like angling yourself backwards, but a little bit further. This is just a personal preference of mine too. Like, some people get really good hands at the net by doing this approach, but I think a lot of the time, like, you'll find that if you're too close to the net on these hits that are coming from off net, it could just like hit your knee and go straight into the ground, and you're like thinking like a second later, like, oh wow, I could have been like a little bit further away. So I think like you guys end up closing the play really well, but it would be nice if you were a step back. And then on this shot right here, you actually pick the right shot. Like, I would have chosen the same thing, which is this like backhand pull. You just whip it, but like the shot selection is more important than like the execution, at least in my opinion. So I like that you were able to go for that shot.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, that time it worked. Let's go back really quick. So you're in a pretty good spot, but again, like, what happens if the set is over here? I think like if I'm the setter right here, you just got to be ready for anything. And this set, like, for one, Peter doesn't do a good job waiting on this ball. Like, I think he could make this a much more challenging touch for both of you guys by waiting on it a bit more. And yes, the set ends up short side of the net here, and Peter's got to get opposite of the ball. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. But like, look at how Peter kind of slowly walks up to the net here. Peter's got to be running over here because the set is going to be coming from this side. If you're on the same side as the set's coming in, that's where you end up in these weird shots where like you don't really know what to swing. Whereas if you were on this side of the net, then you guys would have to rotate, and he probably could have hit like a push shot towards this direction if he had like the reach to do so. So I would say that the reason you guys were in this point was, yes, you had good pressure, but also Peter didn't approach the net correctly, and then he also didn't hit it that well because he's contacting it like a bit too high here.
Mm-hmm.
And then on this conversion by you guys, like, I would say that there's nothing really more that they can do. Like, they're just in a really bad position given like you were very insistent with your touch and your hit was well executed. So you had a good hit at the end of this.
Sweet. Okay.
So obviously it was a really good set. I would just say that like I tend to always take this left-handed. Now I've like told a lot of people this recently, but like the main reason you want to be hit or setting this left-handed is, well, there's a couple different reasons, but the ones I always resort to is that you want to be facing the net as you're setting so you can see it and have a better idea of where you're trying to put the ball. Um, Two, I made a lot of mistakes when I first implemented offhand setting, but as I got more used to it over time, it really helped my game from all aspects. Like I felt like as my left hand setting got better, my left hand hitting, my left hand serving, all
Mm.
kind of improved too. And being really ambidextrous is important, especially in like a day and age with boundary and needing to be able to like produce different kinds of shots in different moments. So overall, like really good set, but I would have done that left-handed.
Yeah, especially in pickup where like you can afford a mistake here and there. So.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing I was going to say about receive earlier that I forgot to mention is that because no drop zone exists now, you can probably stand further away because the drop
Mm.
really isn't as much of a threat. So if you want to approach receive of the mindset of, especially against someone who's not swinging ambi that much, I could start further back and then come in as the serve's going because that'll help you think like, oh, I need to cut the angle off because I need to come in a bit. And so I try to like train my brain that way by like standing a little further back. I just have the benefit that I have pretty long arms, so I'm able to reach a lot of those like wide angle serves still. But when you don't have as wide of arms, like you need to rely more on your footwork. Um, for the most part, I'd say like you're in a good spot receiving here, but you could probably even be like a step further back because I haven't
Mm.
seen Adam swing a left yet.
Yeah, he does have it. Maybe it wasn't landing that day or something. Definitely for like receiving Peter, that's a pretty good idea. But in general, that's a good point about. So you would suggest starting back, and then as the serve is kind of coming off the player's hand, that's when you like
That's when I
cut.
step in. Yeah.
Got
And
it.
I would
Okay.
say make the adjustment of like maybe stand further back at first. And if you get beat with like a wide angled serve, that's when you take a step in. If you're
Mm.
getting beat by speed and it's hitting off your hand weird, then take a step back again. And so just kind of play that cat and mouse game when you can.
Yeah. Okay. Great point.
Nice. Yeah, good shot. Let's just go back for the whole play really quickly. So these sets are very hard to make, but um, when executed well, like your hitter will still have options. This obviously like there's no options here, so you're just in a really good spot off the bat, and there's not much else to say honestly. Like I think your partner could have set you like probably closer to this side of the net, but it is a good shot that you make here. I Why do you not take this left-handed? Do you not hit left-handed that often?
um. Yeah, my left definitely needs some improvement. I think also I gave it. You can't really tell from this angle, but I think I gave Jared a bit of a tough first touch, which is why he doesn't give me a better set.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I favor flicks and stuff, but I definitely need to hit more left. I'm just not confident serving hitting with my left.
No, that's fair. Yeah, it looks like your first touch is a bit short here. Try to
Yeah.
make the adjustment then to like get a little bit more opposite too, because I think if you shift this way, Peter's gonna shift more and get opposite of you, and then you still have the same angle to hit this like shot that you end up doing, but it's gonna be a lot more open if you can make Peter shift. So that's also why like getting across the ball is good, is like it moves the defense.
True, true. And then I think I have this instinct, which maybe is a good instinct sometimes, but when it's kind of like a put on or whatever, I try to do a really short first touch so that it's like 1, 2, 3 put away before they can get back into position. But maybe sometimes I just gotta like just rely on like just trust my setter, trust my hitting, and not take the risk. I don't know what your take is on that.
Yeah, I would say that generally always try to make the touches that you're controlling not as quick as you think. Like I would say there's times and places for quick sets, of course, but I don't think quick first touches are ever what you want to do. Like
Mm,
if you have a good first touch that's more controlled and less quick, your setter can still give you a quick set. Um,
gotcha.
but like the set and making that quicker is probably a lot better than the first touch, because then the set could be like a little, like the second you make your first touch a little out of control, the set's that much harder to recontrol. So um, I would say like most scenarios, no.
Yeah, okay. That's what I found because I feel like errors just start happening when I do that. So,
Yeah, yeah. We'll do a couple more points here and then I'll stop the video, but we can keep doing our session.
okay. Yeah, whatever works for you. Sweet. Oh boy.
Uh, so is this a foot fault, by the way, on the serve? Let's see. Yep. So your partner has like the toe drag here, just so you're like
Mm-hmm.
aware of it.
Yeah.
You're starting far away, and this time you are like, I guess, behind the hitter. You kind of end up in this weird spot where like you're kind of trailing on this righty pull shot and you want to end up where you are. But Adam's also taking like a really weird angle to the ball. So I'm not, I think this is just one of those weird scenarios where like it's weirdly out of system from the jump. Good touch from your partner. This needs to be a left-handed set. So right as think like, where's the ball gonna land in relation to the touch? Like you can set this right-handed, but get around to the ball and set it from here.
Right.
And if you're gonna end up setting it right like this, you need to set it left-handed here. Um, I would prefer you just like move your feet more and get under the ball to like give yourself a better base. And then your partner shifts opposite of the ball, which is good. It's just a really hard set to make like that when your feet aren't really like under the ball and you're just like seeing it straight in the sky above you. Um, and then yeah, this is just a matter of Jared's got to be able to squeeze the net a bit tighter so that you can stay on pull and he can take push more, because Peter does a good job hitting it between you guys, and it looks like Jared gets a hand on it. But like Jared could probably have shifted in slightly more and funneled it more towards you than what ended up happening.
Yeah, maybe too. If I started like when I saw that I had a bad off net set, I should have just like really hugged Peter's back so that I could have got into the right position as soon as I see where Adam's set comes. I don't know about that.
I think that is also a fair point too.
Mhm. Okay,
All right, we'll do one more.
cool. Rare left.
Oh, is that no? I guess that's no hit zone, right? Oh no.
Oh,
Okay,
I think
Peter stepped
made it.
in. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, good shot here. This is sort of what I was saying, where like Adam here, if he's in the pocket and it's a tap on, he's got to be a lot closer. And then he does run in, but like because he runs in late, Peter doesn't really know that he has to shift in front here, and then Adam needs to stay on this pull shot as it's happening, because he's like shifting in thinking Peter's not helping him, which is kind of true, and so he leaves that pull shot. We'll do
Hmm.
one more because you didn't do anything really on that point other than
Okay.
hit a good shot. Yeah, okay. You're in a good spot. You're probably slightly far right here. But like across the net. Like look, I think Jared's in a better spot than you are at this current moment, just given that he's like close and same distance away as the set. And then as this play is happening, like this has to be a scoop shot from Jared. Like there's not much else you could have shifted, I guess, more towards the ball here and helped Jared out, but the ball is going right into Jared. I think you let Adam kind of slide in front of you. So part of what you can do is like notice the momentum that Adam has and see that he's kind of shifting towards you and try to just match that and go towards him as well, because it chances are he's not like hitting it back over here just based on where the set ended up.
Got it. Yeah.
We'll do it there.
But yeah, listen, if you have time, no pressure, but
No, you're good. Yeah, I can do one more point.
cool.
Uh,
Unfortunately.
yeah, good serve. Obviously, not the best set in the world. I like that you went for the set, by the way. Like, right here, that is the opening, is over here. So, noticing that quickly and, like, setting this way, like, even Adam knows that he's got to run over to this area. So, good set. I don't know why he went for a left-handed shot here. Like, the righty pull is wide open, but you did what you could have done in that point. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Jared has like his right shoulder bugs him sometimes, so
Oh,
I gotta
okay.
be aware of that. And maybe if I like gave him the opportunity for like a lefty flick, he loves those lefty flicks. But yeah, in general, I guess that was a pretty good set given the situation.
Yeah, I would say if you can even then set him like closer to where you are, like
Yeah,
chances are like this shot ends up being easier, and sure like it's closer to where Peter ends up being, but Peter's already moving over here. So yeah, I think all in all like hopefully that was helpful and you learned some stuff this session.
super helpful. Like, yeah, it's amazing how much you can mine out of like every point, but obviously the trick is trying to like I guess Scott talks about this sometimes too, but after every point it's like think about what could I have done better to like get a better chance of a touch or put that away quicker, whatever. So
Yeah, a good way to think about it is like, yes, I won the point, but how could I have made that easier? Not just
mhm.
thinking about like points of, oh, I lost it. What could I have done differently? Like, I think really to take your game to the next level, it's like thinking about those points you won too and realizing ways in which you could have won those plays more consistently in the future rather than those like lucky one. Because really, as a player, you want to be able to put yourself in the position where like the other team has less margin than you, right? Like you want to be able to have more margin for error. So get yourself in like the right spots. Think about like the types of sets and situations you want to apply those sets. And then I know we didn't touch on serving much, but that's like a whole other element too that we can talk about in the future.
Amazing. Yeah, that was great stuff. Thank you so much.
Of course.